Coach Brent Pry, Virginia Tech football head coach. They open up against Vanderbilt. You can listen to pregame starting at 10 a.m. right here on 106.7 The Fan. What's up, Coach?
Coach,
how y'all doing this morning?
Can you believe the season is just a few days away, man? This is
it's
and
crazy.
by the way, I'll be at the Vanderbilt game. All right,
Awesome.
and I've never been to Nashville. And I'm bringing my wife and my two daughters. I got a senior down there in Blacksburg now. She's going to be driving to Nashville from Blacksburg. So
What's that, like 6 hours, 8 hours? I don't know.
It's probably like 5.
It's about 6.
It's about 6?
5.5, 6.
Yeah. So anyway, I can't wait. It's here. Let's just talk about the most important position on the field, quarterback, right now. All right, Kyron Jones, who really played well at the end of last year.
We're getting right into it.
Let's get right into it. How much better is he? The one thing that really impressed me about KD last year, Coach, is, man, he takes care of the ball.
Yeah, he sure did.
Yep.
For a first-time starter,
Yep.
I thought he did an excellent job there. And, I hope he can maintain that great decision-making. And, he's very level-headed when the ball's snapped. He doesn't make a lot of, snap decisions or hasty decisions, or he's really kind of methodical, and he goes through his reads, and so he's very mindful of the football.
Hey, I'm curious. EB mentioned he was watching Hard Knocks, and Caleb Williams having sit-downs with the head coach. How often do you have meetings with just your quarterbacks, or do you delegate that to your offense coordinator, your quarterback's coach? What is the interaction as a head coach with your quarterback?
Yeah, I would say as far as position meetings, Coach Bowen and Coach Christ handle those. Kyron and I have a lot of conversations. I'd say, a decent amount more than last year. He's not a real talkative guy, but, as he stepped into more of a leadership role, there's more things that he and I have to discuss. He's now, been named a captain, so there's things there that, that are kind of on our plate together. But, I think he's more comfortable talking with me. There's more things that I want to discuss with him. So, that relationship certainly is growing.
Coach, one of the impressive things about you guys in the offseason, and we've talked about transfer portal, you were able to convince your guys to stay. And at one point I read you guys kept 21 of 22 starters. You could correct that number, but you kept a lot of guys. So guys weren't lined up at the door, at the transfer portal door, eager to get out. And we'll talk about the guys you brought in too. But just talk about, convincing some of these players who may have been thinking about leaving to stay and to kind of continue the success of what you're building off of a bowl season, because you guys played Tulane in the bowl and Navy. I was there. Talk about just convincing these kids, hey, you know what? This is the place for you, man.
Yeah, I don't know if convincing is the right word.
Okay.
We did a nice job, not just myself, but several staff members, of gathering information even before the season was over. What is Quan Felton? What's the information we can give him and his family to make the best choice? Is he considering going to another program for more money? Is he considering throwing his hat in the NFL? Everything from the numbers at wide receiver that would be coming and entering the draft, the dollar amounts, to what other wide receivers and other programs are making, and then of course, the ability to talk about our offense and continuing the momentum, and with KD returning, and that all those things, giving these guys as much information, because I want them to stay for the right reasons.
Right.
And, they have strong relationships with their position coaches. They have very strong relationships with their teammates. I think that was probably the most significant thing. They like playing together. They have a strong brotherhood. They like the process. They like being at Virginia Tech. And they believe we can be, we can be good. We could be better. And if they all came back together, and, the last question I asked each one of them in those retention meetings was, don't I guess something that I asked of him more than a question. Don't come back to be the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to do this and recommit to this, it's to be better.
So,
and I think to a man, they've pretty much done that.
Just kind of talk about the receivers that KD's going to be throwing to him. You mentioned DeQuan, and he was your leading receiver last year, almost 700 yards, eight scores. Jalen Lane, good player. Jennings was going to be your number one, but then he went down with a serious injury in the Purdue game. He comes back. First of all, how's his health? And then just talk about the unit in general of the receivers that you really love.
Yeah, I think, you mentioned those guys, and, Jay Lane, Quan, proven production out there. Ali, certainly somebody that's had success at other places and other moments, had a big game for us to open the year. He's had a great camp. I think he's probably playing his best football right now. Another addition that, to that group that agreed to come back was Steve Gosnell, who came off of, a major knee surgery in the bowl game, an injury in the bowl game, and looks great.
Good.
And, so you got four old guys that are, playing their last year that.
Mm-hmm. They're all grad transfers, right? They're all grad guys. Yeah.
Yep. They all get it. And then, you've got Aiden Green, who's really come on as a second-year player, had a tremendous spring, good off season. He's going to factor in and be in the mix. So it's a good room. There's a lot of, there's young talent. There's these old heads that, understand how to practice and have really, high goals and aspirations for our team and for themselves. And that was big, when KD wanted to come back and Jay Lane wanted to come back and Bayshaw, the other guys, got them excited, to spurn maybe some other opportunities. And I think that carried over to the defense with Dorian and Mansour and APR and these guys all deciding to come back. And, as you mentioned, it trickles into the transfers, right? These guys that you're recruiting go, man, the Hokies got a lot of guys coming back that have been productive. They've got momentum. And so it helps you go out there and recruit those older guys to come in and fill some need areas.
Talking to Coach Brent Pry from Virginia Tech. Third season, was 3-8. His first season improved to 7-6 with the bowl win, so 8-6 overall in season 2. I'm curious. So we were talking about this before you jumped on, about Ali Jennings in particular, and Virginia Tech's his third school. It's his 6th year of college football. So we were just guessing he's 24 years old. Who's the oldest guy on the team? Like, what's the range? I'm sure you have some 17-year-olds, but is 24 the oldest?
Do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've got, I think we've got two guys at 24, and then Bob Schick, our offensive lineman. He's either about to turn 25 or it's already turned 25.
Wow.
So,
that's crazy.
You got 6 and 7 years difference between some of these guys.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Well, all right, so you mentioned the portal. So talk about you kept a bunch of players. But talk about the kids you brought in. You brought in Aeneas Peoples, who was from Duke. He was one of the best defensive linemen in the conference last year. You brought in Kelvin Gilliam. I think he's from Oklahoma. You brought in a linebacker. But just talk about, especially on the defensive side. Your defense was good last year. But
I think we really got some things squared away down the stretch and played pretty well.
Right.
But, we lost 3 D tackles to graduation. Mm-hmm. And collectively they were a pretty good group. So we needed to help ourselves there. And, Aeneas, there was a previous relationship with our corner coach, Derek Jones, and the family from the recruitment at Duke. And so we had immediate in and, worked really hard. Duke and Coach Diaz, rightfully so, worked really hard to keep him. And, we're fortunate to have him. And then Kelvin Gilliam was a young man that we knew about from Richmond. He's a Highland Springs guy, which we have a couple of those guys on the team. And, wasn't having much success out at Oklahoma. Liked our scheme, our structure, and, saw the success that APR had, going off to a program in another league where maybe they think the grass is greener, returning home to Virginia Tech, as APR did, and having big success. So, Kelvin's going to play a lot of football for us this fall. And then Sam Brumfield, a little bit different scenario, not all the ties, but Several of us know Coach Stockstill, the longtime head coach at Middle Tennessee for quite some time. And just tremendous respect and trust in how he ran his program and the type of kids he recruited. And, so my conversation with Coach Stockstill and, his passion and his just sentiment towards Sam Brumfield, it really had a chance to, we had some candidates, but we needed a true Mike to throw into the mix. And there was no guarantee Sam wins the job, but he did.
Good.
He's had a tremendous off season. He's really worked. He's a great teammate. I think it's a testament. And, he's named captain, and he's been with us since January. So, we've been fortunate. We work really hard and vet these candidates really, really hard to make sure that we're getting the right guys. And so far, we've been pretty successful that way. They've helped us on the field, and they've been really good in that locker room and on our campus.
Coach Pry, looking at your schedule, Virginia Tech, of course, opens at Vanderbilt, but there's a 2-week stretch, and I'm just wondering what the travel's like, how you prepare for it, where you head to Miami, and then you go all the way to play Stanford. What is that going to be like for you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we obviously, I don't like to look ahead, but when you're talking about planning and preparation and travel, you have to, especially with trips like you mentioned. So, the operations staff, they dove into that, this summer. What's the best way to handle the short week with Miami? Then we've got, an extra day for the Stanford trip. And, as of now, we're going to travel out there on Thursday. I think a fair amount of teams are doing that are playing a West Coast game, but not everybody. And then we're open the week after, which is also interesting in how you plan for that. And I think we follow with a Thursday night game. So, there's got to be a lot of thought into that. And, you make a lot of phone calls, you ask a lot of questions, and you kick it around quite a few times before you settle on what you think will be best, for our team.
How crazy is it that and your dogs are talking in the background too? That's awesome. How crazy is it that you're going to play Stanford on the road in a conference game?
Yeah, it's I don't think that's set in yet. Until we're out there, and even when game week hits and you're looking at their film and studying those guys, and and then you get out there and you're all the way on the West Coast and playing a team that nobody at Virginia Tech's very, very familiar with.
Right. How are you guys feeling as a staff? And I'm sure the players are all pumped up for the year and conference realignment, 12-team playoff. How are you guys feeling as a staff about the possibilities of where you guys rank in the conference? Do you feel like right now your team good enough on paper, on the field, to contend for an ACC championship?
Yeah, I think everybody in our organization believes we can do that. But we also, we all understand that there's work to be done and that we'll have to be a team that gets better each and every week. We're not the type of team right now that can go play poorly and win a game. Mm-hmm. We need to play well in all three phases, play complementary ball. We need to continue to get better. We need to continue to have young guys grow and develop and learn and be more trustworthy on the field. And in the end, you got to make decisions and you got to play well. I've been around plenty of more talented teams that don't win the game. So, we got to continue our preparation, stay humble, stay hungry, to have a chance to do some things that we could do.
Real Coach quick, before we let you go, sorry, I got to ask you about Dante Lovett. DeMatha, we're DeMatha guys. Yeah. Two of us went to DeMatha. Yeah. Dante Lovett, he's a DeMatha kid, great kid. I met him on his recruiting trip. And where is he on the depth chart right now? Because he's a good player.
Yeah, he's our second boundary corner. Behind Mansour. Okay. So he's going to play a lot of football for us. He'll have a significant role on special teams. He's getting better all the time. We're excited about Emmett Laws, a young guy in the program that more than likely will redshirt, but you never know. So DeMatha has been good to Virginia Tech. We're going to continue that.
Yes, sir.
Coach Pry, I was actually going to ask you a personal question. We know that coaches work long, long hours. How often do you walk your dog during the college football season? Is it just one dog or you got multiple dogs? It almost sounded like two.
Well, let me tell you, we got one real dog, and then we got one that's 4 pounds. Walking it down the sidewalk is enough.
That's your wife's dog.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That is her dog.
Yeah, you got the big dog, and she's got the small dog.
But are you
That's
responsible for the dog during the regular season?
No, I'm not.
No.
No, there's none of this. I'm running home at lunch to let the dogs out.
Right.
No.
All right, Coach. We're pumped, man. This is going to be great. Of course, we air the games, and we want to get you on again in the next few weeks. But good luck against Vandy.
Hey, I appreciate y'all. I got a question for you guys. Have you seen our billboard up over there with our DMV guys?
Oh, where is it?
No.
Where is it exactly? Do you know?
I don't know exactly, but it's been up about a week, so you got to check it out.
All right, we'll be on the lookout. But our listeners, if you tell us where it is,
They'll tell us.
Shoot
Yeah,
us
there
a
you
text.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
It's got to give us the address. It might not be on our commute.
Yeah.
It's
We'll
a
find
good-looking
it.
billboard now.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
We'll find
We're
it.
proud of it. Highlights a bunch of guys from up that way. Appreciate y'all.
All right,
Go
thank
Hokies.
you. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks a lot, bud.
Coach Pry, third season at Virginia Tech, improved them from 3-8 to 8-6 last year with that bowl win.
It's unbelievable how you're all in on Tech now. You are just all in. It's great.
Both of his daughters went there.
Spent a
I
lot of
know.
time there. Spent a lot
I
of
know.
money. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
Because I was not a Hokie fan for many, many years.
Yeah, you're all in now. It's
I'm all
great.
in, man. Yeah, and he's easy to talk to.
He's a nice guy.
He's great.